I'm leaving that in.
What?
I'm leaving that in. Hi everyone, I'm Ying Ying and welcome back to the Noodle Kids Knitting Podcast. It's been a while. By a while I mean like 2 weeks more than I prefer to film, but my phone decided to give up, so I got a new phone. So it's been a while and I have a lot of material to show you. Mainly because I caved during Black Friday and I got in one order, so I have stuff to show. And I have a few FOs, but half of it is like out the door already. And I have a few whips. So without further ado, let's just get into it. Let's start with the finished object. I tried to film previously, but the footage just died, so I'm gonna do it again. I realized that I didn't show this FO in my previous podcast. Here it is. It's my Moonset pullover by Ozetta. It's all done. So this is a drop shoulder pullover with a V-neck, and the collars actually worked at the same time as the body, which is pretty interesting. I've never done that before. The finished sweater is a little more cropped than I prefer, but that's just because of me. I was lazy at the end, so I just finished it. And I'm gonna insert some try-on footage as usual. The yarn that I used, this is actually a whip since a long time ago. Like, I think beginning of 2023, so it's been a year. And I just left it during the summer because I couldn't be bothered to deal with fluffy yarn during summer, but I finally finished it. And the yarn that I used is Fireweed Fiber Co. The main color in merino is Snow Globe, and it's one of the Christmas colorway from 2022 to 2023, so beginning of 2023. Anyway, you know what I mean. And the alpaca, the fluffy yarn, is Kama Rose Midnight Soul in the color I do not remember, but it's a medium blue. So yeah, it is done, and I am actually really liking the variegation of this yarn. It looks really good. It is a mix of turquoise, a medium to dark blue that's leaning towards violet, and with speckles of red and a dark blue. But yeah, I am really liking the V-neck on me. Maybe one day I'll lengthen the sweater, but right now I'm not about to undo like 4 stitches I-cord. Yeah. Honestly, I think I would knit this pattern again because it's pretty straightforward and the result is actually really nice. And it has like this really cool collar detail that I mentioned earlier is worked with the sweater, so you don't have to go back after and finish the collar, quote unquote. That's my first FO, and I'm just waiting for an opportunity to wear it because it hasn't been cold enough to actually wear like a fluffy sweater. Like even in this just straight up merino sweater, I'm sweating. So I'm waiting for it to be just a little colder to wear my fluffy sweaters. The second and third FO is out the door. I don't have it anymore. I made it for a friend and I used Barocco Mochi, which is one of the yarn that I really, really wanted to try because I heard Aro Knits and Pearl talk about it, and she used the colorway Vanilla, which is like, it just looks like a sprinkle ice cream, and it just has me in a chokehold. Any yarn that's named after food or has sprinkles, it just, ugh, I can't. Anyway, she was saying that she wanted a sweater that has sprinkles in it. So I suggested a few yarns and she decided on the Barocco Mochi. Originally, she wanted the sweater to be cream, but she ultimately decided to want it in a black color. It's just more practical. So the colorway that we used is Raven, which is a, I would say, really dark gray. It looks like a black, but since the core is a nylon core, I think, it has a little bit of white offsetting the black blown yarn around it. Anyway, I have pictures. The pictures are not really great. The sweater itself looks more opaque and black in person. I think it's just a really hard yarn to take pictures of, especially the day that I was taking picture. It was like overcast, so all the lighting was really, really diffused and I couldn't do anything about it. I haven't talked about the sweater. The sweater that I made with the yarn is the Weekender sweater. Or is it the Weekend sweater? It's the Weekend sweater by Darling J'adore. It is a pattern that I've had in my library since a long time. I actually got it off Etsy, not even from Ravelry. I have a Ravelry account from like 2014 or something when I first started knitting, but I abandoned it and I got back into it around like 2020, 2021. So this is at the beginning of me picking knitting back up again. So I was searching on Etsy looking for like basic sweaters and I stumbled on the Weekend sweater by Darling J'adore. It's a pretty straightforward pattern and it fits both me and my friend pretty well. She told me that she likes it, so there is just enough yarn left to make a full Musselburgh hat, which I also started and finished. It took me like 2 days because it was like a worsted weight yarn, so it went by really fast. I'm currently making another Musselburgh hat. It's going a lot slower because I'm using fingering weight yarn this time, but I'm still liking the result, which is great. So yeah, that's the other whip. That's the other FO that I have, a sweater and a hat, and I gave it to my friend. That's it for my FOs. Let's move on to whips. I have several. If you've watched my Vlogmas, which I am doing, the first one is out, so if you want to watch it, you can go check it out after this video. So this is my fingering weight Musselburgh hat. It is a neon pink, super neon pink, and I currently have about 29 centimeters or something like that last time I checked. It's about halfway done, but I am a little scared that I'm not gonna finish with the same yarn, so I'm probably just gonna find another yarn and have that different color section be inside. For those who don't know, the Musselburgh hat is knitted in a tube, and at the end you close up the tube with like decreases and you fold one side into the other, so it creates like a double layer, and if you make it long enough you can even fold the brim, so it's like 4-layer over your ear. And my ears get cold really easily in winter, so I would make like the longer version to try to get the 4 layers. It's going pretty well. The yarn that I use is Lichen and Lace Gladiolus. It's one of the sock train yarn. I believe is in August, is it? It's somewhere in the summer. It's just this super neon pink that I said I didn't know what to do with it, but then I decided to make a hat with, which it's looking pretty cute. So the needle size that I'm using is 3.25, and I only have them in shorties, like the 3.5 or 3 inches needle from Lika. I previously made a Musselburgh, well, started a Musselburgh as well with fingering weight yarn, but I was using 3.5 millimeter, and I think the needle is just slightly too big for the yarn size in my preference. So during the knitting process, it was very unpleasant because, I don't know, it was just like not knit properly. I don't know how to explain it. But with the 3.25, it's going really well. And I just put on like a random show and just stocking it away. My second whip, if you've been following me for a while now, you would recognize this because I make this over and over and over again. If it would straighten out. Thank you. Do you recognize it? Yeah, it's another Nomad hood. So I previously made a Nomad hood for a friend, and she liked it so much that this winter when it when it first started getting cold, she started wearing her Nomad hood, and she asked me if I could make her 2 more. Well, originally it's 1 more, but she couldn't decide between the colors, so there we go, 2 more. This is how it's going. I am done with the increases. I just need to knit to the correct length, and then we can do the decreases and the neck. It's going pretty well. I am a little worried about getting tired of the pattern on the second one, because usually by the end of the first one, by the end of one, I'm like, okay, I'm kind of tired of ripping. But no, it should be fine. It should be fine. Should be fine. I'm gonna lie to myself like that. But the yarn that I use is the same as last time, but just different color. So it's the Drops Merino Extra Fine, and this is the color 48, which it doesn't say a name on the label, but it's like Bordeaux, which is like a burgundy color, but I also call it like a Merlot color. It's just like a dark brownish wine red, like a classic winter garment color. And the other color that she chose is this one, also in the Drops Merino Extra Fine in colorway 51. It's more a neutral color, and on the website it says the colorway is called Latte, which I really like the name. Yeah, I think these two would just look really cute in her wardrobe. Second whip ties into my Black Friday purchase. This is my Ingrid sweater. It's a bit of a mess because my needle organization is a bit terrible, but this is how it's looking like currently. This is the back, and I have the front. I have the left shoulder done already, and the right shoulder is in progress. I'm finally hopping on the Ingrid sweater train, even though I have the pattern in my library for a long time. I just didn't have the appropriate yarn for it. And when I saw that Stash Lounge has a Black Friday sale, I was like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm gonna get some yarn on sale and I'm gonna make the Ingrid sweater. So this yarn is from Essence of Autumn, which is also a really talented Canadian indie dyer. The color that she makes is just, they're all really nice. She has a bunch of cool speckles, but also really jewel tone saturated colors. And this color is called Terracotta. It's a tonal of a reddish orange. Yeah, I've never worked with any yarn this color, and I don't have anything in my wardrobe that is this color, so I'm excited about how it's gonna turn out. I think for the Ingrid sweater, it's very important to get a yarn that doesn't have too much variegation, or else it's gonna overshadow the texture. So I think having a tonal that's like not super obvious in the color variation is gonna be great for it. I'm having a lot of fun making it. It's like what everybody is saying. It's like you finish one section and then you move on to another section and you just work a little bit and you're at the other section. It's a bit like the sweater number 18 from My Favorite Things. It goes on really, really fast. So hopefully I can finish that and I'll be able to wear it during this winter. Next whip is a bit of a sad story. It's my clove sweater. So I talked about this a little bit in my last video, and I barely had anything started in my last video, but I think I'm going to frog this because I'm not really liking the fabric that it's making. So I'm using typical Bliss worsted base. I don't know if there's a name for it, but this is the color Kodama from the Princess Mononoke collection. It's a gorgeous yarn. It's a variegation of a medium blue, turquoise, white, and a dark blue. And it looks really cool, but I don't think it's suitable for just a mindless knit. I need to alternate skeins a lot, and I think it will work better with a raglan instead of a drop shoulder, because alternating skein with a raglan is just easier because you're just knitting stockinette in the round instead of back and forth, so the yarn doesn't get tangled as much in the round, I guess. Personally, I don't know. I'm just not really having fun with this project anymore, and I didn't alternate skeins in the back compared to the front. So the back, this skein is one whole skein. It also used up a lot of yarn for no reason. So this is one whole skein for the back. And as you can see, it's a lot of variegation and a lot of deep blue. In the front, the top of these shoulders, it's one skein, and it's barely any deep blue. It's just white, green, turquoise. So I started alternating skeins with another one that has more deep blue, but it still doesn't have as much as like the back. Yeah, I'm just not loving how it's looking, and I'll try to find another pattern that works better for this. Maybe, I don't know, because a cardigan wouldn't work either. It would still be back and forth. It's just the gauge of this pattern is not my usual gauge for DK weight, because this yarn, even though it's labeled as worsted, it's more like a DK. It's more like a DK to heavy DK-ish. But with my usual gauge, I get 20 stitches per 10 centimeters, and I think the gauge for this sweater requires 22 stitches. So I'm using 3.5 millimeter needles. No, 3.75 millimeter needles, and the fabric is just a little too tight for my liking. It's a little too dense. So I'm gonna find another project for this. It's unfortunate, but it's just what happens sometimes with knitting. All right, let's get into an exciting section. Is that what you call this? Anyway, let's get into the acquisition, which I haven't had a lot of acquisitions since a while now. I treated myself. Black Friday, everything was on sale. I already talked about the drops, so that's one thing. I have pre-ordered this when it was the pre-order period. So I have this. This is the Fall Woodlands collection from Campfiber Yarns. It's a set of mini of all the colors. I couldn't decide which color I want, so I just, got a set of mini so I get all the colors. I don't know what to do with these. Probably like accents in hats or socks. They're really, really cute. Yeah, I'm really liking the colors. The other yarn that I got is the Essence of Autumn terracotta, and I already showed you that. That's going in my Ingrid sweater. But with the same order, I got some spinning fiber, which I haven't been spinning a lot because I don't have that much fiber. I have one braid that is like a rainbow color, and I'm kind of saving it, even though I should just spin it up, but I've been kind of saving it. So I got this. This is from Stash Lounge, and it's their, is it the staff inspired color? But it's one of their exclusive extra fine merino, extra fine? It's just a merino blend, and it's called Pastel Tweed. It's a blend of a baby blue and a baby pink with a bit of gray and some like neps for the tweed. I think it'll look really cute. It's 71% merino and 29 wool / viscose, and this is 100 grams. I'm just really liking the color. The other thing, I actually got a sweater quantity of it, and I'm thinking about spinning it up into a DK and maybe make a colorwork sweater with a existing DK skein that I have in my stash. So this is also from Stash. This is 50 Shades of Beige, and it's a really nice blend of neutral color, and it has this subtle variegation that just looks really nice in the fiber form. It's probably gonna be, I actually don't know if it's gonna be less pronounced or more pronounced when it's spinning into a yarn, but you won't know because I'll talk about it in a podcast. Last thing, is this from November? It should be. Is the Lichen and Lace sock train from November. So as usual, if you don't want to get spoiled and you haven't received anything, you need to skip to this timestamp. Alright, so this is the color, which I'm not even gonna attempt to pronounce. Chrysanthemum.
Chrysanthemum.
Laugh at me in the comments. It's leaning Christmas. It is a variegation yarn. It has a deep red and a medium salmon-ish pink and yellow. As usual, Lichen and Lace never disappoint. The colors are amazing. And I'm just gonna leave it in my stash. It's looking really nice. I don't know what to do with this. I just wanted to show you guys. So that's it for today's video. It feels like a short one in my head, but maybe it's gonna come up to around like 20-30 minutes, hopefully. Follow my Vlogmas if you're interested. I don't do that much of Christmassy things, so if you're not that into Christmas, you can watch my Vlogmas. It's just a vlog. But I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Hopefully I can get some knitting in here and there, and I'll be able to finish stuff here and there. I have so many deserted whips that I need to frog or I need to finish. If you're interested in an episode of that, I will make one. But that's it for today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Stay safe, drink a lot of water, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!